It's interesting. Like, you don't have to be introvert or extrovert in order to be successful in either ways. But I could tell you that being a CPA, being an extrovert, definitely helps you stand out, which is, I think it's amazing.
Isn't it interesting that we are accountants, but we're so extrovert and we like to talk to people? Because
Yes.
normally people would say that, oh my God, accountants are very quiet, very introvert. And then when they talk to me and they just like, you are a very different accountant. It's like, oh, and then I told them that, oh, I know a lot more different accountants, just like me.
I think it's such a gift for CPAs who are extroverted too. I'm not just saying it has to be an extrovert in order to talk to people, like, because you connect in different levels for introverts and extroverts. My husband is big I introvert. I'm a way opposite the big E too. But what I've learned is that it's just a different skill set. Even as a business developer, what I've seen is that you don't have to be an extrovert in order to be out there in the market and do business development. That was a very interesting thing that I learned because I thought, oh, you gotta love people and be out there and do all that showcasing, which extroverts generally love, right? But one of the things that I noticed is that, oh, wow, introverts could actually close businesses. So, it was really great learning for me because as a business developer, I create the team, right? The pursuit team. So when I have, hey, I need to put this proposal, usually you need to grab different department heads and such in order to create the pursuit team and then, do the proposals and all that. And, you know, it's just fascinating. Even the big eyes, the introverts that I've worked with, they were so good at closing businesses, even though they're not like voila, like I love doing voila stuff. Like they're very different. They're very subtle, but they're very processing internally, and they will throw something out on the table that even the prospective clients like, whoa, that makes total sense. And like, what about this, what about that? And you go deeper into the technical skills, they shine bright. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, you don't have to be introvert or extrovert in order to be successful in either ways. But I could tell you that being a CPA, being an extrovert, definitely helps you stand out, which is, I think it's amazing.
That's true. And I also noticed that extrovert people love introvert people.
Uh-huh.
Your husband is introvert, my husband is introvert too. All my best friends, they are introvert.
Really?
Yep,
You got to balance it out somewhere, right?
yep, yep, exactly. Like I need to talk, someone need to listen.
I love that.
Yeah, and it seems like the transition for you from assurance manager to business development director doesn't seem to be that bad. It seems to be very smooth for you because you love doing all the jobs in business development. So I'm just curious, when you compare the job, like very traditional job as an auditor, with like very new job as a business developer, what is the most lesson that you feel like you pick it up from being an auditor and then you apply that in the business development position?
It's interesting. I love this question because it gets me thinking. One of the things that I really think it helped me, like not only just a skill set that I learned, one of the things that I don't know if you would expect this, but it's actually CPA credentials. The reason why I bring this up, it's interesting. So there were actually several times when I get on a phone call or get on a meeting, have an in-person meeting with the CFO of a large company, and they would often say, "I need to talk to CPA," and I'm like, "You're talking to me. Bring it on." So the conversation goes very deeper than like, "Oh, what do you need? Oh, I need to go back to my CPA to figure out, what your exact needs are. We're going to come back to you and such." Like, I was able to cut down that time back and forth. And also that CPA credential actually became a wedge for me because it opened doors. Not just because I'm a CPA, they're willing to talk. I think it was more of an instant trust that they had. Like, oh, she knows what she's selling. She knows what she's talking about, rather than like, oh, in our sales brochure, this is what we say. I'll come back with a partner, as opposed to that, it was more like, let's just have a genuine conversation. What's your pain point in your company? Oh, interesting, So rather than, like, I don't know, I'm just making this up. Rather than an audit, maybe we could look at review instead of doing a full-blown audit. So we were having different type of communication even at the sales process. So that made my life a whole lot easier. So, anyways, the CPA credential, I think it became a really powerful wedge for me, even as a business developer.
That's really interesting because I would expect something else different. I would expect like, oh, all the critical thinking, all the details oriented will help you in business developing position. But you never know it's true. Being a CPA, it just opens a lot of doors for you, and also people look up to you. People talk to you differently. That's always something that I always share with students, that that's one thing that you can see when you are CPA. There's a level of aspect that people look up to you, people
Mhm.
communicate with you. That say, wow, you're a CPA. Awesome. Good for you.
Yes. And to your point, like the critical thinking and all that, I think it's very important. Those are all transferable skills, right? Whether you are auditing a big corporate or you're sales developing, doing developments for an accounting firm or other firms, I think all those are transferable skills, which is amazing that you learn throughout your accounting career. I would say one of the things that really helped me was, having curiosity, being curious. Like I'm naturally a very curious person. Love hearing their stories, getting to connect at a different level. That was always in my genes. So even as an auditor, when I go into the CFO's office, like, knock, 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 let's do the fraud questionnaire. Like, it's like, but we have, of course, we go through all that because we have to, go through our checklist. But I love just connecting with them on a personal level or even at a professional level. But, that connection comes through curiosity. When you're curious about somebody, they open up, right? Not everyone, but, they tend to open up and share, invite you to their space. So that really helped me build different connections with, different CEOs and CFOs and business owners.
Is that the skill that you learn a lot? Like I know you said that it's in your gene, but also is that the skill you learn a lot when you were as audit manager at Deloitte, that you deal
Oh,
with that
absolutely.
challenging staff?
Yeah, and like as an auditor, you have to keep questioning about, where is the risk lying, right? Like it's all about risk and that critical thinking and questioning of, hey, does it sound right? And having, trust but verified mentality, I think that just kind of carried over into my career overall. And, all that I learned in audit, I really am using a lot of that, even in business development and as a growth leader. I'm using all of that skill set. Even like simple planning, right? You're planning for your engagements, getting with the team, working with the team, the teamwork that you learn, everything. I think it's so invaluable. Like it just kind of culminates together and become part of your career, whether you're an auditor or a business developer or doing something else.
So I'm just curious, after working in the business development area for such a long time, have you ever missed working in audit?
Could I be really honest? I
I
know.
want audit answers.
There wasn't a single day. Let's just put it that way. There wasn't a single day that I missed audit. But what's funny is that I still love audit. But I think for me, I think the highest and best use for the talents that I was given was being around people, connecting people, doing business throughout that transactions and, like building a team around it. I think all those were something that I really had desire for. And that really resonated more on the business developer side of things than the auditor. So I think just because of that, I think I was better suited. Therefore, I never looked back on it. But kudos to auditors, like bless your heart.
You're like, I'm done. Move on. Don't even want to think about that again.
Yeah. What's interesting though, because I've been there and done that, I think I had more appreciation. I'm pretty sure I have more appreciation for the professional who's actually doing the work when I'm out in the field selling our businesses, selling our service lines and such. I have so much more appreciation for our team who's actually doing the work, right? Once I close the deal, somebody has to do the work, right? And it's not going to be me, but I have so much more appreciation. And because I've been there and done that, I think also the team also knows that she knows what we're going through. So they're so much more supportive when putting the proposals together, getting on a prospective client calls and such. I think people were, more open to doing that, even though it was closer to business season and all that. I'm like, please, one time. I think they were more keen to doing that because they felt like, oh, yeah, she's part of our not one off, business developer or somebody from sales, just trying to sell more businesses. So it was really the community that I built as an auditor that just kind of really swiftly, transitioned over to the business development. But I still, it was best of both worlds. I get to keep the community.
That's awesome. It's interesting that when you are a manager or above, you also have responsibilities to develop the business, to grow the business as well. You have to
Mhm.
build a connection or relationship with the clients. It's not like we have to do that 100% because we also have to like do the audit, do the tax work, do advisory work. Like you just focusing on client services, building business, grow the business. But on the other side, managers, senior managers, or directors, or partners, they all have a part of that journey as well to grow the
Sure.
business. So, talking about you as doing just business developer position only, and also on the other side, as managers and above, they have to grow the business. What's the difference? Because I know as on the other side, as a managers and above, they also have to build relationship as well. What kind of a different relationship between your relationship versus managers and above relationships with the client?
I would say the biggest difference is the billable hours.
That's so true. Oh
Yes,
my
as a
god.
practitioner, you have a billable hour that you have to hit, right? Most of the firms, not every firm, but most of the firms still has billable hour requirements, and you have to build those, right? Working with a client, and sometimes business development goes on the wayside because you're so busy focusing on the client service. And that was a struggle when I was on the manager role. Like I wanted to do more lunch meetings, like coffees, and doing events together, like joint events with different firms and such. But I just did not have time in the world. When it was busy season, like heads down, I just needed to focus on that, like let alone any like business development, activities that I could do. So that's when the struggle really came in. And I noticed like, I just want to solely focus on one thing. And if it was one thing, I chose business development. So billable hours is a big thing, really, because as a business developer, that's your sole responsibility, right? Building relationship, nurturing that relationship, and being fruitful with the business in return. So that's like 100% of your job. Whereas as a practitioner, you have some requirements around that, but it could be softy. Some are very hard numbers, but it could be softy, right? And the priority shifts, client service versus business development activity. Of course, client comes first. And there's this dilemma of like, oh, but I committed to this event and such. But for business developers, it's like, that's your sole thing. Let's go and build relationship and make business.
Favor, your job sounds to be so much fun.
I'm selling it too hard here. Oh no.
Yeah, you're really selling it so well. I feel like I may want to try it. I may want to
No.
consider my tax manager position. Maybe I want to be a business developer. I can just go out and talk to people, maintain the relationship, go have all the lunch meeting, dinner, eating at the nice restaurants. I think it sounds so much fun. Now you need to tell us what is the challenge you have. Otherwise, everyone want to quit the job and just do business developing
Yes.
position.
I would get calls from all this different like accounting firms that, their staff watch this and they're like, "Oh, we're going to be business development. We're not going to do any more."
Yep, that's what me like. That's favors
Yeah,
mistake.
blame it on
That's her
me.
trouble. It's
Yes.
all her. She's selling so well.
But so let's, on the other side, right? I mean, there's all this fun aspect of it, which I think it's no matter what, it's really fun doing that. Some might feel that's the most stressful job that I could even hear about. I've heard that from many of my CPA colleagues where they're like, "Oh, you do what you need to do. Like, I'd rather get through my tax returns or financial statements. Like, you go and do it. I don't want to be at the event." Right. So I think everyone plays a different role. But I would say the hardest part in business development or sales is meeting the quota, right? There is a quota, right? Just like billable hour requirements, there is a quota of, this is what our expectation is, right? It could be hard sell revenue dollars or profit levels or billables, whatever it could be. It could be a myriad of different things, but there is a quota to meet. So there is that constant pressure of, I need to meet the quota versus when I was in audit, usually the work was given to me and there was usually more work than the required billable hours. So it was never an issue. It wasn't like I need to go hunt down a business to make up for the billable hours. So I think it's definitely different caliber of things, but like everybody has their positions, right? Not everyone could be business developers. Then who's going to do the work? Not everyone could be just client facing, client service role. Then who's going to sell? Like, we'll never grow the firm. So I think that definitely there's going to be a balance, but I truly think I've been blessed with one of the coolest jobs that I had.
So, do you have to travel a lot? That could be a question that a lot of people may stop a lot of people as well. That they do not want to travel because of the family current situation or because of the kids, something like that.
Sure. Yeah. When I was actually doing business development, I didn't travel a ton. It was great that I had the opportunity to travel when I needed to, but not to a point where it was, I was a travel, road warrior or anything. I live in Dallas, Texas, and it's been very vibrant business community here, so I didn't have to travel a ton to get other businesses. There were a lot here too. But for me, I think it was really communicating in advance with the family, saying, "Hey, if I have a conference that I need to attend, everyone knows way in advance what needs to be done before then and after." So there was a lot more communication around it if I had to travel, but luckily I didn't have to travel a ton.
Wow, so it's another good thing. I thought it's going to be a downside that you may not consider it, but it's another good thing to consider this position. Oh my God. I don't know, we are
I am
interviewing
selling
to
it so
be
well today.
I don't know. We are interviewing you as like encourage people to be a CPA, to do like a tax audit advisor. Now they're thinking about maybe I can be a CPA and to being a business developer. That's your choice. But yeah, there's an option over there, and favor that's maybe another option for me that I should consider.
Okay, we should talk.
And so that would be like I talk to my firm and say, hey, I want to consider business developer position, and they will be like, why?
What?
I talked to this CPA. Her name is Favorly, and her position is just so cool, and I want to try it.
Hey, it might work. It might work. The favor magic might work.
That's so funny. Before we move on to the next job, I just have the thought that your name, Favor, did you pick that name or did you translate the name from Korean names to English name? It's exactly the name is Favor. Because the Favor name sounds very cool. Like, hey, my name
Oh,
is Favor. Like, yes, she's my favor.
you're You're so sweet. So I told you I moved here when I was 20. I thought it was a 1 year gig. So I really didn't have an English name. I was staying with a family friend and like I think she was like 5 year old back then. She asked me like, "What's your name?" I said Hyunsuk, which is my Korean name, and she's like, "No, your English name." Like I just got here and I'm gonna be here only for a year. I doesn't matter if you call me Bob or whatever. Like you pick. And she said, "Oh, you're gonna be Crystal." So I actually lived as Crystal Shim for almost like 15, 20 years. Like yeah, almost. So I somewhat recently changed my full name actually. I took my husband's last name while midst of doing all this, just to confuse everybody. And then at one point I felt like, okay, I've been living here long enough. I need my name. And my Korean name, if you translate it, it's more like noble woman type name. And I didn't want to be called noble. That was like, no, no, thank you. So, I prayed over it and this name Favor just popped out. And I said, there we go. Like, I'm going to change my name to Favor. So I gave him my name to myself. And then, like I said, I changed my last name too. So my coworkers was so confused because out of nowhere, like one week I was Crystal Shin, and then the next week I was like, you know what? I changed my name. It's Favor Lee. And they're like, what's going on? What's really going on with her? Like divorce, like remarry, like identity theft, like what's really going on? Like some of them weren't really, blunt enough to like ask me in the face. So anyway, that's how I got my Favor Lee name.
Interesting story about the name because my original name is not Rosie.
Ah,
And my original name is MY. So if you look at my LinkedIn, you see MY,
yes,
Rosey Flaherty. And the in Vietnamese we say is me, but in English it's my.
my.
And I have to correct every single time people call my name. They have no idea that it should be me, and I don't blame on them because in English it's my.
It's my. Yeah, without a doubt, it's my.
Right. And so that's just so funny. And when you put my and then I take my husband's last name as well, and you put like my Flaherty, it's like not your Flaherty, it's my Flaherty. So that the name kind of like I take my ownership. I take ownership of my husband's last name is my Flaherty. So it's kind of funny that's the last name. So I normally go by Rosie, but I have to wait until I become a citizen to change the official legal name Rosie. So for now, my legal name is still me.
Oh,
I still have
okay.
to correct to some point. I'm so sick of correcting people. Just call me mine. That's fine.
I did not know that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought your legal name was Rosie, but me is
Yeah.
your name. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that. Me.
me, not you. It's me. Yeah, my
Yeah,
name is
it's
me.
me. Love
It's
it.
so confusing. It's mine, but then no, it's me.
Yeah, my Korean name it was Hyunsuk, and I get so much different like Hyunsuk and Hyunsuk, and I'm like I just can't do this anymore. Like just call me Crystal, and it was so hard to unwind though. Like even till nowadays, like I meet somebody and it's been a while, they'll call me Hey Crystal. I'm like, oh that sounds so foreign, but yeah, I go by favorite now. They're like, what's going on with you?
What's going on with you? I like the reaction. What's going on with you?
Hey, personal branding. We learn about it, through
Yeah,
name change. So I'm
yeah.
excited to hear about your story once you get to like Rosie as a legal name.
Yeah, mostly people don't know my legal name. That's funny. People just know my Rosie only. Because
Yeah.
when I introduce myself, I completely ignore mine. I just, hey, I'm Rosie from the beginning. And so when I change my LinkedIn names to my, people are surprised. Some people like say, I didn't even know that your name is me. And people at work,
Oh.
because now I have to change the title, the signature name to my legal name as well. I cannot go by Rosie anymore until it is my legal name because of CPA requirement. So people when they see that, they will be like, "Oh, I didn't know that Rosie is not your name." I was like, "Now you know."
Oh, I love that. It's a great way to reintroduce yourself too. Like I use that as another wedge when I was meeting with other people. Hey, oh, what happened to your name? Oh, so here's the story.
Yep, that's a good way to start the
Yes.
conversation as well. That's just so funny.
Yeah, because you connect at a different level, right? It's not only about work. I mean, work is great. Like we love work, but we work not to live our life just at work, right?
Yep.
So it's just a matter of connecting with different people.